movement in the courtroom. Judge back on the bench. Let's listen.
Family members and friends and folks here, there cannot be an outburst on this. Hard enough, we've all worked very hard. The district attorney's office worked very hard. Counsel has worked very hard for Mr. Finnegan. I cannot mess this up at this time by any outburst. If that's a point with you, you need to leave, please. All right? Okay. Thank you. Let's see if they open the door. Bring him in. Thank you. Have a seat, please. As I said, the jury's reached a verdict in this case. We, the jury, unanimously find the following listed statutory aggravating circumstances beyond a reasonable doubt. And they listed them specifically. 1, the murder was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, and they involved torture or serious physical abuse beyond that necessary to produce death. Number 3, the murder was knowingly committed, solicited, directed, or aided by the defendant, while the defendant had a substantial role in committing any rape and or kidnapping. And 4, the defendant knowingly mutilated the body of the victim after death. We, the jury, unanimously find the state's proven beyond a reasonable doubt that the statutory aggravated circumstances or circumstances so listed above outweigh any mitigating circumstances. Therefore, we, the jury, unanimously find the punishment for the defendant, Sean Finnegan, shall be death. So, ladies and gentlemen, I need to make sure every one of my jurors that that's your verdict. So I'll do like I did last time. Juror number 1, is that your verdict, sir?
Yes.
Juror number 2?
Yes.
Juror number 3?
Yes.
Juror number 4?
Yes.
Juror number 5?
Yes.
Juror number 6?
Yes.
Juror number 7?
Yes.
Juror number 8? Juror number 9?
Yes.
Juror number 10?
Yes.
Juror number 11?
Yes.
And juror number 12?
Yes.
In just a moment, I'm going to excuse y'all. If y'all can hang around a few moments, I'd like to come talk to you. We won't talk anything specific about the case, but I would like to share with you for just a moment. If you'd be more comfortable in the other big room, that'd be great. Whatever, y'all get to decide wherever you'd like to go. But if you can hang on for just a few minutes, I've got some additional work I need to do, and then we'll go from there. Okay? All right, everybody rise, please. Thank you. Y'all are excused. Take a seat. Mr. Finnegan, you can stand up, please, sir, with your attorneys. Upon the verdict of the jury find you, Sean Finnegan, to be guilty of murder in the first degree as charged in the indictment. Upon further verdict of fixing the punishment of death, it is therefore ordered that you shall be put to death by lethal injection in the mode prescribed by Tennessee law pursuant to the provisions of Tennessee Code annotated 40-23-114. You'll be transferred to the custody of the warden of the state penitentiary at Nashville, Tennessee, pending appellate review. Thank you. Have a seat, sir. And then also I'm going to sign the order that as the 13th juror, I accept and approve the sentencing and the verdict rendered by the jury. Anything else from the state that I need to take care of?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else from the defense?
No, sir.
All right. We'll stand in recess. All rise, please.
Okay, Sean Finnegan finding out that his fate is death. The state of Tennessee will carry out an execution at some point if his appeals are not successful down the road. And you see he's being consoled by his defense attorney. It by no means is over. The appellate process is long in a death penalty case. Always a somber moment. Jack Rice, Josh Schiffer with us here. And I've been in courtrooms where juries have come back with a recommendation of death, and it is the gravity is very apparent. And we could feel it here.
The air is exceptionally heavy in a room like that, because no matter how emotionally involved you are as a victim or as someone, as a witness, or as just a bystander in the community, these decisions are at the absolute heart of our fundamental rights. This is why people spend the time on the due diligence and the due process arguments, making sure our system works as efficiently and appropriately as possible. It is a long process. There will be appeals, but the jury was very clear.
No reaction there from Sean Finnegan, no major reaction. He was obviously taking it in, and he had to be ready for this. Let's face it, the crime that he was convicted of is as heinous as it gets, Jack. That if you're going to have a death penalty as a society, this is what you have in mind.
I think about that white mannequin that the prosecution had up and had all of those red dots all over it, where he took a piece of her arm, he took her nose, he took a nipple, he took pieces from her body, and you contemplate what all of that means. But as we sit here and as I think about this jury of 12 who just came to this decision, I think about the responsibility and the weight that they all must feel. They have had to live with this and feel every piece of this weight, and they're the ones who had to make this call. These are just people living their lives who are called into court to serve their community. And we think about the sacrifices that we make as Americans with elections coming and all that. But frankly, if you want to talk about patriotism, I would argue that these 12, these people who had to come in and do something extraordinarily hard, and it doesn't stop here. The weight that they have, this goes home with them. They will carry this for the rest of their lives, and you can't let go of that, because that is an extraordinary sacrifice, an extraordinary act.
It's a kind of service that is very distinct from our heroes in the military, from our first responders, from our civil servants. This is one of the only times where you as a citizen are
There's that mannequin too, that Jack was. It's been up in the courtroom the entire time, which that'll be part of the appeal.
That'd be part of the appeal.
Yeah, that should never have sat there for that.
Yeah,
you take it down immediately. Well, from a defense.
The kind of service that these people have now performed doesn't end. The trauma of being involved in something of this gravity stays with you for life.
Yeah, there are no medals, there are no commendations. They don't get to be on the front page of the paper and say, look how amazing these people are. There are going to be those who second guess them. There's going to be those who demonize them. There are going to be those who hold them up when they don't feel they should be held up. All of those things are coming at these people. And what did they get? What did they get? $12 an hour? $22 an hour?
A day, my friend. Not an hour.
I know. I can't believe it. I mean, contemplate what it is that they are carrying now. They're going to be thinking about this on their own deathbeds. They will be, because this is a part of what they had to do, their service. And that's something that I think we should remember. And I think it's easy to forget because it happens all across the country every day. But this one, when we're talking about the ultimate price to be paid, is particularly heavy on those who ultimately have to make it.
Right, and you're right. Over time, that doesn't go away for these jurors. They'll live with this decision and not necessarily regret. I mean, but just live with it. They'll have it as part of their being from here on out. And let's remind everybody why this case, why this jury came to this conclusion, likely because of the heinous nature. There was one moment where Rebecca Dishman, who was the co-defendant in this case, she pled out for life without parole. She was part of this torture, horrible, horrible torture of this victim. She was describing to the jury the act of the defendant. You know, he, as you mentioned, Jackie, literally took her nose, her nipples, he took her body, mutilated it. And here is her talking about what he did with her nose.
There was 1 or 2 times that I caught him masturbating to Jennifer.
Could you describe that scene for us?
The first time I was taking a shower and I came in to put my dirty clothes in the hamper, and he was masturbating, and he held out his hand, and I was confused as to what it was until I looked over and he had cut off her nose and intimate areas.
And what did you do when you walked in and saw that?
It freaked me out. I ran downstairs and was almost outside of the door, but he yelled at me to get back inside.
Ran downstairs at that point, you said?
Yes.
And he yelled at you?
Yes.
What happened after that?
After I went upstairs, he closed the door and made me perform oral sex on him because it aroused him.
Hug your kids, as Vinny says.
It's indescribable, the trauma and the pain and the sickness and the tragedy that is in something so violent and so depraved. And you're right, this is the kind of case that justifies the death penalty in the minds of so many people, and it's a tough argument to say that this behavior doesn't deserve the absolute worst punishment we have.
Yeah. Some would say, yeah, that what he did to her should be done to him, you know, but and thank God that's not on the table in our society, but you get why this came back the way it did.
Oh, there's no question when we hear these sorts of things. You know, when I watch this and I think back sort of over a career myself, there are those times when we all want to believe that when we see, if you want to call it evil, or we see people who make terrible decisions or evil decisions or monstrous decisions, that we're going to see the horns, you know, that we're going to see the tail. If I walk into a room, I can see him and say, that's a bad guy. That's a guy who's capable of this. And the problem is this has happened to me so many times where I've been surprised. So many times it still surprises me that that actually happened, that anybody could do that. And I've heard...
And when he was done doing that, he went to work as the cook at the restaurant.
Right. So if I walked into that restaurant, would I have seen him and said, ooh, he is capable of this in his ulterior life? No. And that's part of what makes this so scary, I think.
And we need to remember how vast our population is. And this is one person's depravity, one person committing these crimes. And my big concern with this is it elevates unnecessarily cultural fears, where cultural fears, we need them. We need to protect our communities. We need to be on the lookout for people that are, as Jack says, evil. But we also need to remember that this is such a rare situation. Our law enforcement activated, came in, the justice system appears to work fully and healthily in executing what the
We're going to get a break. We'll talk more. Hold your thought. We'll get a break here. We'll talk more about the jury's decision in the case against Sean Finnegan. They have recommended the death penalty, meaning that the state of Tennessee will take this man's life as punishment for what he did to his victim. We'll be back with more right after this.